All right, I want to share part of my pre-market prep that might seem really simple and obvious, but if you're not doing it, something like it, then you should start doing so. It's basically about news events, making sure you're ready for the day and you don't miss any potential market reactions and get blindsided in your trades. In this particular case, what I do is I use TradingView as my charting software for monitoring the SPY. But what I do is I add vertical lines to my chart for like when the event happens, and I add a little label at the bottom so at any given time I can see it at a glance what to expect. And you can also obviously go back in time and see, oh, how did the market react to this event, and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's really basic. The main thing that I do over here is just I use vertical lines that you can draw. Over here, it's in the first panel in TradingView called vertical line. And all I do is check the text box, add the event name, and then I set the text alignment to bottom, right, and vertical. And that has the effect of just having it at the bottom, and it doesn't interfere with the price action unless it's a very tight range day. And then I make the text a gray color so it's not too, it doesn't stand out too much because I want to focus on the price action. So that's what the end result looks like. Now, where do I get the data? So I use two sources. I use investing.com and Financial Juice, two free resources. Investing.com will harass you with turning off your ad blocker, though, I noticed, and for that reason I actually don't like it as much anymore. But basically, you just go through the day and you add the events to the calendar, or to your chart. So let's do it for tomorrow. In my case, I ignore anything that's pre-market because by the time I start trading, that has already happened, and I'm on the West Coast, so market open is 6:30 a.m. for me. So first event over here is 6:45 Chicago PMI. So what I do, just add vertical line, 6:45, double click, Chicago PMI. Next one is 7 o'clock Michigan inflation and consumer expectations. So 7 o'clock Michigan inflation and oops. 8 o'clock Dallas Fed PCE. And then 10 o'clock Baker Hughes oil rig count. And that's it. 1:30 and on is aftermarket. Market closes at 1 p.m. over here. And then yeah, so I will, after I check one site, I'll cross-reference with the other one, because sometimes one site will have information that the other does not. I found Financial Juice to be more reliable. It'll have stuff that investing.com does not have, but investing.com's interface is a lot easier for me to read. So let's see, 5:30, skip that. 6:45 Chicago PMI, we got that. 7 o'clock Michigan, got it. 10 o'clock Baker Hughes, got it. All right, and that's it. So that's all the data for tomorrow. So I'm ready for tomorrow. One other thing worth mentioning is sometimes you'll have Fed speakers on the menu. So in that case, what I do is I make sure I know whether the Fed speaker is a hawk or a dove. And I have this chart over here that I found online. I just searched for Fed hawk dove chart or something like that. And this is the one that I liked, so I bookmarked this. And it tells you how hawkish or dovish each of the speakers are and whether or not they are voting members for 2023. So for example, yesterday we had Fed Bostic over here, So I found him on the chart. Where are you? Right here, Atlanta. He's a little bit red over here, so he's a hawk. So I put hawk in parentheses, and so I can maybe expect he'll talk about increasing interest rates, and maybe the market will react negatively. And in this case, it did, but I'm not totally sure if it's related to that. But at any rate, this will hopefully help prevent you from getting blindsided from events. All right, hope that was useful.